Turns out student loans are officially a scam.
This is a scam.
It's the student loan system is clearly not working.
I think student loans is an absolute, utter scam.
Okay, I was not expecting it to get that dramatic, but let's go with it. Whilst I have your attention, give me 10 minutes or so. My job is to show you that student loans are broken and get you as angry as I am about this, because that is the only way we're going to change this thing. Okay, let's kick off with my personal situation. I went to university between 2016 and 2020, 4 years, paid roughly just over £9,000 a year, and my student loan balance sits at £38,465.80p. Yep, at the merry age of 29, I owe the government just shy of £40,000. But what blows my mind off the back of that is apparently I'm in a good position, because the average student loan Plan 2 debt at the moment is £55,000. I genuinely don't understand how as a country we're allowing the average 20-year-old to have £55,000 of debt. And here's the part that might not actually make sense to you. Despite my outrage, despite that huge number sitting over me, I have no intention to pay that thing off. Not because I can't, but I will break down the maths behind that decision a little bit later on. Speaking of maths, for me to get you as angry as possible, the very first thing is that you need to understand, how does the student loan product even work? So in 2012, the controversial Plan 2 student loan kicked off, where student tuition fees went up from £3,000 to £9,000. They tripled overnight. But somehow that's not the issue here. Because this video isn't about how much you borrowed, it's about paying back that debt. And there are two key things you need to know. Number one is you pay back 9% of anything you earn above a certain threshold. That threshold at the moment is £29,385. So say for example, you're a lower rate taxpayer earning £40,000 a year. That's around £950 of that gone to student loan, or £80 a month. Not quite the phone contract equivalent that it was sold to us as. The second thing you need to know is that your student loan balance doesn't sit still. It accrues interest, like any loan. How much depends on how much you earn. At the very bottom of that spectrum, it goes up with inflation, or RPI, which is a measure of inflation. And the more you earn, up to around £50,000, an additional of up to 3% might be added on to your interest rate. That's right, your student loan balance can go up by more than inflation. Right now, at the time of recording, that means your interest on your student loan balance might be as high as 6.2%, although the government have been really kind, stepped in and capped it at 6%. Thank you so much. Two other small T's and C's that you probably didn't realize when you signed that student loan contract. Number one is the interest started being accrued, not from the moment you started paying off a student loan, but from the moment you actually started university. That's right. I had 4 years of interest added on by the time I left uni. And the second thing, slightly more positive news, after 30 years of repayments, the entire balance is wiped. Whatever is remaining is gone. Theoretically sounds great. Practically, people end up paying multiple times what they have borrowed before that 30-year clock times out. So now you know how this product works. Let me share with you every single element of it that is broken. Number one, the way your interest is actually measured. Now, before I told you at the very lowest rate, it goes up in line with inflation. The measure of inflation they use is one called RPI. However, the government themselves don't like RPI. They don't want that applied to their loans when they borrow money. They use CPI instead. The difference between the two, typically around 1%. RPI higher than CPI by 1%. But obviously, when it comes to student loans, let's use RPI because that means that students eventually will owe us more money. Number two, that 9% number. Earlier, I told you that it's 9% of anything you earn above a threshold. Take a second to actually think about a 9% additional tax on your income for 30 years. That is an incredible amount of money. It could be the difference between starting a family, buying a house, leaving your job to pursue a business. This is significant money. Third, if you're a high rate taxpayer in this country, which means you earn roughly over £50,000 a year, your effective tax rate isn't 40% like you think it is. In fact, add on the national insurance, it goes to 42. Add on a student loan balance, it rises to 51%. That's right, for every £1 you earn as a high rate taxpayer in this country, if you're a graduate, 51p goes to the taxman. Yay. Fourth, why on earth is this interest rate above inflation? Fine, we'll pay back what we borrowed. Okay, we'll pay it back in real terms so that it actually goes up in line with inflation. Why the hell is there an additional 3% the more you earn? And fifth, the one that I'm most angry about is they have frozen the threshold at which repayments begin from 2027 for 3 years. This happened in the last budget.
I will also keep the Plan 2 student loan repayments threshold at its 2026-27 level for 3 years.
And to most people, this will actually go over your head. The government are sneaky. They know what they're doing here. Essentially what it means is as your salary goes up, let's say just in line with inflation, so it doesn't even change in terms of what it can actually buy, more and more of it gets dragged above the threshold, meaning you pay more and more back in student loans, meaning the government make more and more money off you, and you didn't even realize. Now, this isn't the first time they've done this. It happened in 2016, it happened in 2021. So other governments have done this as well. But what makes this so disgusting is the fact that when the Plan 2 was announced, it was said very clearly that from 2016, the threshold would go up every single year. They are retrospectively changing what we signed up to. Now, if a bank offered you a mortgage and you were 5 years into a 30-year product and they went, actually, we're going to change the terms and conditions, that bank would be in serious trouble. But because it's the government, hey, yeah, of course, change the rules, make us pay more. That's absolutely fine. Now you see why I'm angry? Now, I'm not an economist, so if you don't want to take my word for why you should be so angry, let me read what the Treasury Select Committee, made up of MPs across all different parties, said in a recent report released about student loans. The government has described the student loan system as unfair and broken. University and students have agreed, so do we. That's right, in black and white, here on my computer, is a report that the government themselves have declared the student loan system broken and unfair. This was a product sold to 17 and 18-year-olds who had no financial literacy given to them in school, who were told that university was one of the only paths for them to pursue any kind of career in this country, and who were also told via marketing of this product that it would be similar to a phone contract, that £15 a month that you barely notice leave your bank account every single month. I don't quite think hundreds of pounds a month compares to my phone contract. And not just because I got a very good deal. I need to share with you a few other things that were said in this report. I read the entire thing. You don't have to do it. These things are going to blow your mind. You see, when the student loan product was created in the first place, the entire concept was that the government would cover half of the bill and the student would cover half of the bill. Pretty fair. Some said maybe 60-40. We can argue it's tomatoes, tomatoes. The realistic number, I'm just reading again off the report, students are currently covering around 95% of the bill. That is not what this product was meant to be. Not just that, but from recent reports, the cohort that left university just 2 years ago might be the first ever one where the government are making profit off of students. That's right, they're not just breaking even, they are profiting off students going to university. Surely someone at some point has to just say this isn't right anymore. So what actually needs to change? I told you about all the things that were broken, but I think there are just 3 simple requests from myself and from students across the entire country. Number 1, please don't freeze the threshold. Yep, another U-turn, but it's time to actually make a morally correct decision. Stop changing the rules to what a 17 and 18-year-old signed up to in this country because you can get away with it. Number 2, scrap any above inflation-linked interest rate. I genuinely can't believe that the government think this is a fair thing to do, to charge students an above inflationary rate of what they borrow. Stop profiteering off young people and start making things fair. We're happy to pay back what we borrowed. We are happy for it to go up in line with inflation. Yeah, we would prefer CPI instead of RPI because you don't even accept RPI anymore. But at the very least, get rid of that 3%. But you have to realize, for the people that will never pay off the student loan, the lower earners in society, that interest rate change doesn't actually do anything for them. What will do something for them is the third change, changing that 9% of anything you earn above the threshold down to a much more suitable number. Think something like 5%. Put more money into young people's pockets in this country. Give them a fighting chance of saving towards their future, because taking 9% of their salary above a threshold every single year for 30 years is not going to allow this country to grow any kind of wealth. So to the new Chancellor and to the new PM, Andy Burnham, whilst you are figuring out the legislation to make all 3 of those changes, thank you very much, I want to explain to you why I am not overpaying my mortgage, why I'm just paying it at its normal rate, rather than trying to speed things up and get rid of this debt that I think is a scam. 3 reasons. Number 1, I'm not 100% confident that I'd pay this thing off in 30 years. If I was able to model it and see that in 15, 20 years, this thing was going to be paid off, there'd be a much higher argument in my case to see if I can pay this off a little bit more quickly, because I will be paying off the full balance regardless, and 6% interest as on annually, not a great thing to have ticking in the background of my life. But as I'm not 100% confident, I would rather let it get to that point and have whatever is left over wiped off. Number 2, I am secretly confident that this is going to change. And if this product would change, hopefully for the better, I might look like a right mug having paid it off when things actually got better, For example, it only went up with inflation, and then technically it makes sense to hold on to a loan at that low rate so I can do other things with my money. And that leads me on to point number 3. I want to do other things with my money. I don't have the spare cash to be paying off a student loan balance. And if I did have the spare cash to be paying off student loan balance, my personal appetite would be to do something like invest that money. To try and do something with that money mathematically is more optimal. Try and earn 8 to 10% on average through investing rather than pay off a student loan balance at a 6% interest rate. Don't get me wrong, it's a tight call, but I'm confident over the long term that I can get returns through other sources at a higher level than the interest rate on my student loan balance. Like I said, if you're a higher earner and you just want to get rid of that thing with all the spare cash you have, I can completely understand that. If you hate the idea of debt and psychologically it is really holding you back in life, I can understand why you'd pay it off. If you got a large inheritance and you had excess money, 100% I can understand why you'd pay it off. For me right now, it's not the right decision. At its core, the reason I make this video, the reason that I go on news channels and speak about student loans is because I need to make a noise about this, because the government only make changes and decisions on things that the country are angry about, that people are noticing, that people are aware of. Otherwise, it is in their interest to continue leaving it as it is, because any changes are only going to make things more favorable to us and put less money in their pocket. That's why it's time through this video. Look up organizations like Rethink Repayment, write to your MP about changes you want to see, vote in any polls, or give your feedback anytime you are asked about your student loans. It's time for the burden of this country to stop being put on young people and start being spread more equally. Let's bring this product back to the 50-50 split it was always meant to be. Thank you, run over. That is my first YouTube video in about 3 years. If you liked it, I guess follow for more.